Welcome to the Advance Your Art podcast, where we talk about the journey from artist to entrepreneur and everything in between. You've worked hard to hone your craft. Now take it to the next level with tips, techniques, strategies, and routines used by successful artists to grow their businesses and careers. Now, let's get started and have some fun with your host, Yuri Cataldo.
And we're live. Hello, Adriana. Welcome back to the show. How are you today?
Hello, Yuri. Thanks for inviting me to be in the show again. I'm very happy about that. It's great on a Friday. It's very good to end the week like this.
Well, excellent. I appreciate that. Thank you. So we last chatted about a year ago. So if the listeners are not familiar with your work, they should refer back to that episode. I will put a link in the show notes to that. So we'll skip over that part. But I want to know, so it's been a year since we last had this chat. What have you been up to in 2018?
Wow, in 2018, I was at the third book of my series, Hidden Motives. I've released a brilliant game. I've been receiving some awards for the two first novels, and I start a fourth novel that is not part of this series. It's an independent book, another one. I hope to finish till June or July.
Wow, you've been really busy, and it's even more impressive because you're not maybe you are. You're not a full-time author. Like, you still have your day job as a lawyer. Is that correct? Or have you switched over now?
Yes, today I'm in Brazil's capital, Brasilia. I was in court until some hours ago. So I'm still working hard as a lawyer for my clients. I'm not a full-time author. I have just some hours per day to write. But I love to share my time between those activities. It's very good.
Yeah.
Law gives me ideas.
Right. So actually, before I talk about your past three books, I want to talk about your new book you're writing right now. Are you okay with chatting with it? Do you want to keep it?
Yeah, sure. It's
All
great.
Right. So what are you writing now?
Okay, I'm writing another thriller. I love thrillers. I love mystery. But this one is different because it happens between First and Second World War. So it's been hard because it requires lots of research. Everything is seen. I need to write. I need to research a lot in order to put my characters on the right period, doing the right thing for the moment. So, they have a touch of erotica, sometimes more than a touch, but you can't do too much erotica in 1948. So it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to have erotica for sure, but it's much more mystery than erotica.
Okay. Mystery. Interesting. So I've been wondering this. So I have started reading your first book, which is, it's very scintillating. And it's, as I'm getting deeper into them, and I know that your other books kind of go off the same story, but even that in conjunction with your new book, where do your ideas come from for each of the, like for the characters, for the storyline? I know you said you pull some of that from your work, but like, where do these ideas come from?
Hard to explain because I have this attention deficit, and my mind is like a computer with 1,000 windows open all the time. So from many sources, from observing people, from talking to people, for family, friends, of course, my clients,
Right.
from books I've read, ideas that come to my mind whenever I'm watching a movie. Sometimes I'm watching a movie and I think, oh, that's so nice to add some murder in the story. Let's kill somebody. And I really can't explain because I have really a huge imagination.
Okay.
It's hard not to be like that because I use imagination to work, to defend my clients, and in everything. It's hard to say, but I believe it's from observation of everything that happens around me.
Yeah. So what about writer's block? I don't know if we talked about this last time, but with someone, like yourself who has a huge imagination, always has ideas, do you ever find yourself when you're sitting down in front of the computer to be blocked suddenly and just you can't come up with an idea or a sentence, or is it because you're so imaginative that ideas just keep coming and you just keep things flowing?
I believe there are two things here. I need, in Brazil, to defend a client, you have to write their story and to tell to the judge, and you have a tight schedule for that. So I can't wait for muses play in my ears to develop a thesis and defend my clients. I have to write, simply like that.
Right.
I brought that from law to writing. Every day I write a little bit, at least 5,000 words per morning, and I don't wait for muses. I'm thinking about a scene and I start writing. The other day I'm going to read and I'm going to, oh, I was crazy. That's unbelievable. That was not good. I cut some parts. I have others for a future book.
Mm-hmm.
But every day I try to focus a little bit. Stephen King used to say, inspiration is for amateurs. Professionals write and they just write.
Okay.
I can't wait for inspiration. I just write, and I believe that's that. You have an idea. When you start a book, you have to have a main line. It's not like that. A book doesn't come to your mind completely, but you know where you are going to start from and where you want to arrive. In the middle of that, it's work, it's research, it's developing characters, developing emotions, dealing with all that, and trying to put to the paper whatever you say your characters are feeling. It's hard because whenever I try to write about emotions, even about sex, I try to experience in myself the sensation feelings, and I try to describe that to the paper. So it's pure tell to the paper or to the computer screen how I feel, so I can put emotions to the characters. I can't wait for inspiration. I just have to work and work and work. Some days they are not very good, my writing. Others are better, and it's just like everything in life. A purpose leads you to perfection.
Yeah. So as you're writing your book, how do you keep track of all the characters? And also, do you write in the book order, or do you jump from scene to scene and then kind of put everything together?
I'm just like a little frog. I jump from scene to scene. Sometimes I think, hey, another character would be great here. With my characters, I have a line that is very clear and became clear to me after my second book. It was natural. All my female characters are strong persons. They are very, very strong. They are tough. They can fend for themselves. They are independent. And I didn't know it was like that until a day during an interview, someone told me, your characters are very strong. You don't believe in weak women? And so I realized, oh, my women, my female characters are like that. They are independent. So from time to time, I just try to put another character, to have another idea, and then just not to be writing about just strong females all the time, but I prefer to write about strong females, of course.
Right.
And of course, one day I write a scene, and then I get tired from that character. I stop there, write about another one. It's just like that, and then I put all together in the end.
Okay. Interesting. So I want to talk about your awards. So there is a long list of the awards you've won. You know, Golden Book Awards from 2017, Book Excellent Awards, Independent Publisher Awards, Readers Festival Awards, and a finalist as an independent author. So as a new author onto the scene, how did you decide which of these awards to submit your book to? And I guess the first question I should ask is, do you submit your book to these awards, or do they invite you in? How does that process work? And then how do you choose which ones to go to?
When I wrote my first book, I just want to publish.
Yeah.
One day I was contacted through Facebook inbox that I was reader choice for Golden Book Award, and I was a finalist. It was a surprise.
Oh, wow.
I never
Okay.
thought about enrolling in a book contest until that moment.
Okay.
Then I was so happy. I spread the news all on my social media. I was so happy to be a finalist of an award. And 2 months after that, they told me I got a golden medal. I was so happy. I started to search for new contests. But as I'm part of some authors association, I try to look for serious contests, because I discover there are some scams on the contest fields.
Yeah.
Some contests, they just demand some money. You're enrolled, maybe you can win some medals. They're not serious. So
Sure.
I try to obey their list for serious contests. Reader's Favorite is one of the biggest literary associations. Independent Publisher Award, it's very traditional, 12 or 15 years in awards. And now the last one, I'm a Bragg Medallion author.
Yeah.
And Bragg Medallion is in 10 countries. It's a huge thing, and they are free to enroll.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's to really support independent authors. So it's very good. Yes, I enroll. I choose then by that list. The Authors Association gave us and say, this is serious, this is a scam, they just want your money, and things like that.
Yeah.
Main of all, because I can enroll everything. I have to choose. Prices are in dollar. I live in Brazil. Your money costs 4 times mine.
Oh. Sure. So that does make things more expensive then, especially if they're
I have to be selective for good awards, for serious awards, and also for money.
Okay, great. So when you were last on the show, we talked about your first 2 books, which you released back to back. And then I believe later in 2018, you released your 3rd book. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's talk about your 3rd book. Yes, in March. Right. After this one came out. So tell me about your 3rd book, and how did that go when you released it?
My 3rd book closes the trilogy. So Hidden Motives is over now. And it's the key for the 2 first books. On the 2 first books, whenever you finish one of my books, you are going to be sure who the killer is. Then on the next book, you're not going to be so sure. And the key is only to be given to the reader on the 3rd book. It's really a book to solve all puzzles.
Okay.
All puzzles that I put on the first book, on the 2nd book, they have the answers just on the 5 last pages of the 3rd book. That present us other mysteries, because I can't. As a reader, I love to be surprised.
Yeah.
Whenever I read